The 10 most dangerous deadly creatures in the world. Why should you never touch them? The number one is considered humanity's ultimate nightmare. Be extremely careful if you see it in our usual imagination. Ferocious sharks, mighty tigers, and large pythons are undoubtedly the most terrifying creatures. However, the truly dangerous creatures are often not what we imagine. Those massive beasts or fierce predators. They might be completely unremarkable or perhaps extraordinarily beautiful. In today's video, we'll take you to see the 10 most dangerous deadly creatures in the world. Top 10. Whiptail scorpion. Whether by name or appearance, it looks like a terrifying poisonous scorpion, making uninformed people keep their distance. However, in fact, this scary-looking animal isn't even a scorpion, and its weapon isn't venom, but acid. The whip scorpion is an arachnid. It combines scorpion-like pincers with spider-like mouth features and a thin, long tail like that of a rat. It looks like it gives off an ancient vibe. This is because their bloodline is closely related to ancient horseshoe crabs and sea scorpions. These creatures are ancient giants in the evolutionary river. As a small predator in the ancient arthropod family, whip scorpion fossils can be traced back to the Carboniferous period 350 million years ago, witnessing the long process of biological evolution. Of course, what makes whip scorpions notable, not only because of their unique appearance, more notably, is their chemist-like ingenious defense mechanism. The acid spray from their tail, at the end of their abdomen, glands hidden at the base of the whip tail, can quickly produce a high concentration of acid solution. Once they feel threatened or attacked, whip scorpions immediately enter alert status, raising their whip tail, rapidly releasing from the glands a liquid with a strong vinegar smell. This smell not only repels predators, but can also distract them when being caught, providing the whip scorpion with a chance to escape. If the spray is more precise, the liquid directly lands on the predator. Their exoskeleton will suffer a certain degree of corrosion. This liquid consists of 84% acetic acid and 5% caprylic acid. Not only does it have a pungent odor, but it also has certain corrosive properties. Acetic acid is a product of food fermentation. You should know, the acetic acid content in vinegar is generally only about 5%. Yet, whip scorpions can spray an acetic acid solution exceeding 80% concentration. This is undoubtedly a unique ability given by nature. TOP9, rice leaf roller larva. When a caterpillar wriggles its body before your eyes, it will likely give you goosebumps, or even make you scream and run away. And this hairy caterpillar is not just scary, it even has a cat-like face. It's the rice-all butterfly caterpillar. On the stage of nature, the transformation journey of caterpillars is always full of challenges. They grow from small forms, eventually turning into butterflies or moths. This process is both long and difficult. Due to their slow movement speed, once detected by predators, they often can't escape. Therefore, to survive, most caterpillars have learned to camouflage themselves. These caterpillars don't pursue flashy appearances. On the contrary, they generally look unremarkable, to reduce the risk of being preyed upon, or to make predators feel this animal tastes bad or is difficult to catch, creating a relatively safe living environment for themselves. Among many caterpillars, the rice-all butterfly caterpillar's disguise is particularly unique. They don't choose to mimic poisonous snakes or leaves. Their head is brown, forming a stark contrast with their tender green body. This color contrast makes the head visually more prominent, as if it's a transplanted head. Compared to its round body, the caterpillar's head appears angular, forming a cat-like outline. The antennae on the rice-all butterfly caterpillar's head and the tail horns at the end of the caterpillar's abdomen bear some resemblance to cat ears and tail with certain similarities, further enhancing the cat-like visual effect. So why does the rice-all butterfly caterpillar disguise itself to look like a cat? In fact, to humans, cats seem cute. But in nature, felines are often seen as fierce predators. So this disguise might help the caterpillar avoid predators when facing threats. Besides its unique disguise, the rice-all butterfly caterpillar's appetite is also impressive. During their growth process, they need to constantly consume large amounts of food to meet their growth and development needs. They feed on rice leaves through special mouth parts, sucking up cells from the leaves one by one, leaving behind holes. Although this behavior causes some damage to crops, the rice-all butterfly caterpillar's appetite has earned it the nickname food god. TOP8, giant water bug. At certain times, you might see a pair of scary giant water bugs hunting in the water, with 10 strange particles attached to its back, arranged neatly, making people exclaim their trypophobia is triggered. So what exactly are these particles? Do they have some terrifying purpose? This water bug is called the giant water bug. You might find it hard to believe. The particles on its back are not scary toxins or predatory weapons. On the contrary, they represent the gentlest aspect of this creature. The giant water bug As a unique aquatic carnivorous insect, its shape is similar to a water cockroach. However, its body is relatively smaller. It has a pair of strong front legs, with unique double claw tip design, forming a stark contrast to the single claw tip of water cockroaches. When hunting, giant water bugs prefer to use their limbs to embrace prey from top to bottom, rather than relying solely on front legs for horizontal grasp. Its 6 long legs and shell-like exterior provide excellent survival abilities in aquatic environments. During the giant water bug's life cycle, it experiences reproduction twice a year. They choose to spend winter in the bottom mud of ponds, rivers, lakes, and other water bodies, becoming active again in March of the following spring. As fierce predators in water, giant water bugs are not only natural enemies of mosquito larvae, but also hunt various aquatic larvae, damselflies, and dragonfly nymphs, even including some mollusks and small fish fry. However, during breeding season, giant water bugs display touching fatherly love. After mating, the male giant water bug enters an almost crazy devoted husband state, not only catching prey for the female daily, but also taking on the responsibility of protecting his mate. When the female giant water bug begins to lay eggs, she chooses to lay eggs directly on the male's back, firmly fixing them by secreting sticky substances. The male giant water bug carries these eggs, incubating them in water. Under the careful care of the giant water bug dad, the offspring's survival rate greatly increases. The hatching rate can even exceed 90%. However, the egg-carrying behavior makes the male's movement slower, feeding efficiency lower, and reduces chances to escape predators. Therefore, egg-carrying behavior costs the male enormously, until the nymphs grow to a soft yellow mold. The nymphs can then live independently, each seeking new living spaces. After completing this mission, the male giant water bug's life is also near its end. Its selfless dedication makes it an exemplar of fatherly love in the insect world, known as the super dad of nature. TOP7 Platypus. In 1798, British naturalists who first saw this strange creature could hardly believe their eyes. They thought this might be a man-made prank doll, rather than something naturally formed. The creature they saw was the platypus. What kind of unusual animal can make so many naturalists collectively speechless? The platypus has a flat, broad bill, resembling a duck's bill, with a sea otter-like body. Its forelimbs are short but powerful. Its tail is flat and broad, like a beaver's tail. These features give it excellent swimming ability, allowing it to easily navigate complex aquatic environments. However, such strange body parts made it hard for people to believe they could harmoniously exist in one organism, as if they were artificially assembled. Due to the platypus's strange appearance, the naming process by scientists was also full of twists. It was initially called a water mole, then renamed as a fur beast, until finally being confirmed as a platypus. This naming process took over a century. To reveal the true identity of this creature, scientists went through countless thoughts and explorations. Initially, scientists saw platypuses laying eggs and thought they were oviparous animals. However, their bodies were covered with mammalian fur. They had no obvious nipples. These contradictions greatly confused scientists, until they discovered that during nursing periods, the sides of their bodies secrete milk similar to sweat. To obtain nutrition, this discovery finally allowed scientists to confirm the platypus's mammalian identity, and the platypus's egg-laying reproductive method makes it unique among mammals. As a carnivorous animal, the platypus's prey is mainly various aquatic insects and small crustaceans. Its mouth is full of sharp dental plates that can quickly crush the shells of prey to obtain the nutrients inside. Its stomach also has strong digestive abilities, capable of processing various complex food residues. This unique diet allows the platypus to survive in competitive aquatic environments and reproduce offspring. Besides these amazing features, platypuses have some little-known characteristics. For example, they have a unique electrosensing ability, able to detect weak electric field changes in their surroundings. This ability allows platypuses, when hunting, to accurately locate the position of prey, improving hunting success rates. Moreover, platypuses also have certain toxicity. They have a special gland on their hind legs that can secrete a substance with anesthetic and toxic effects. This substance doesn't pose much threat to humans, but is deadly to the platypus's prey. TOP6 Flower Urchin. You might think of delicious food on the table. However, this trumpet flower-shaped creature, considered one of the world's most beautiful sea urchins, the flower sea urchin not only is inedible, but also extremely dangerous. It's even in the Guinness World Records as the most dangerous sea urchin. The flower sea urchin is a large sea urchin. Its shell diameter can reach 12 centimeters. The center of the trumpet-shaped forked spines is purple-red, with white edges. The spine tips are white. The flower sea urchin's body is covered with dense, sharp spines. These spines are not only hard, but also sharp, enough to make any creature trying to approach it back away. The truly frightening aspect of the flower sea urchin is not its appearance, but the deadly toxins it carries. This toxin is the flower sea urchin's defensive weapon, and its secret weapon for hunting prey. When humans or animals accidentally touch the flower sea urchin, the forked spines located between its tentacles on top of its body will quickly pierce the intruder's skin, injecting venom into the person's bloodstream. More chillingly, the flower sea urchin's toxin is not released all at once. Its venom glands can continuously secrete venom, injecting it into the wounded organism through the forked spines. This means, once stung by a flower sea urchin, the victim will face prolonged pain and suffering, and may even die from the accumulated toxin. Besides its powerful toxicity, the flower sea urchin also has excellent camouflage abilities. They often use their tube feet and forked spines to attach algae fragments and stone chips as cover on their bodies for camouflage. This makes flower sea urchins harder to detect in the ocean, also providing them with more hunting opportunities. TOP5, crested rat. Speaking of rodents, people often think of rats, squirrels, bamboo rats, and other rodent figures. Among them, rats are especially common. People avoid them at all costs. However, as all things in nature have their counterparts, cats, as natural enemies of rats, seem destined for this role. However, in the distant depths of African rainforests lives a very different kind of rodent. This rodent is considered the animal kingdom's poison master. Once it gets excited, its hair stands up like a brush, warning potential threats. Those hairs are coated with toxic substances. Even powerful beasts will quickly fall if they touch them accidentally, let alone cats. If they encounter such rodents, they would face a life-threatening situation. Adult crested rats. Adult crested rats are quite impressive in size, can reach a body length of 360 millimeters, with a total length of nearly 530 millimeters, almost reaching half a meter in length, far exceeding the size of ordinary rats. Their bodies are covered with thick hair. Even their tails are abundantly hairy. Colors are mainly white, gray, and black, especially those long, thick hairs. We call them crests. When crested rats feel threatened or excited, these crests stand up, like a porcupine. More amazingly, the crested rat's crests often have a large amount of toxic substances attached. This raises a question: where do these toxic substances come from? Although crested rats are large in size, close to the size of a cat, making them in most cases not worried about being hunted by wildcats. But in African jungles, there are still many fierce predators like lions, leopards, wolves, dogs, and honey badgers watching them. To survive, crested rats have adopted a unique defensive strategy. They apply to their fur a layer of toxic substance to make other animals retreat in the face of difficulty. These toxic substances are not secreted by the rats themselves, but come from a plant known as death upon blood contact, a poisonous plant. The poison arrow tree. Biologists from Cornell University and the Smithsonian Conservation Biology Institute, Sarah Weinstein, observed that crested rats would deliberately approach poison arrow trees, bite off branches, not because they were hungry, but to chew the branches into a paste, then apply it to their fur, adding a layer of natural protection for themselves to avoid being killed by predators. TOP4, blue-ringed octopus. On the evening of November 30th, 2020, a female customer at a local Thai barbecue restaurant ordered octopus skewers as a late-night snack. However, during the tasting process, she found something unusual about one of the octopus skewers. The surface appeared to have strange spots. When she looked more carefully, a terrifying discovery frightened her. In this octopus skewer was hidden a terrifying creature, the blue-ringed octopus. According to media reports, the venom inside this blue-ringed octopus is extremely potent, even after high-temperature cooking. Its toxicity remains unchanged. So, regarding the toxicity of blue-ringed octopus, is it really as reported in the news? That even after being thoroughly cooked, its toxicity remains unchanged. The blue-ringed octopus belongs to the octopus family. Although small in size, it can be found in tropical and subtropical waters around the world. You can find it there, especially in the Great Barrier Reef area. They frequently appear. This octopus has a subtle color with a grayish-white base, decorated with rainbow-colored rings. However, this beautiful appearance hides deadly danger. When a blue-ringed octopus feels threatened or stepped on, it can quickly release a highly toxic substance, tetrodotoxin. This substance was named after being first discovered in pufferfish, but it actually exists widely in many organisms. The blue-ringed octopus is one of them. This neurotoxin is very stable. Only when heated at high temperatures for over 30 minutes can it be broken down. The blue-ringed octopus's toxicity is extremely strong. According to scientific research, the blue-ringed octopus's toxicity even exceeds that of cobras. It's one of the most toxic marine creatures known. Its toxin content can reach up to 174 micrograms. However, this value isn't fixed. When processed with internal organs removed, toxicity will decrease. But even so, the venom from a single blue-ringed octopus is enough to cause fatal harm to 26 adults in an extremely short time. More critically, there is currently no effective antidote. Once poisoned, the situation becomes extremely dangerous. TOP3, sea pig. You may have seen seahorses, walruses, or dolphins, but you're definitely unfamiliar with sea pigs. Although they're found in oceans worldwide, most humans have never seen them in person because they live below the sea surface at depths of 1,000 meters in the deep sea. The name of this creature seems somewhat related to land pigs, but in reality, they're more similar to sea cucumbers, both belonging to echinoderms. In appearance, the sea pig's body is a semi-transparent sphere with a head resembling a domestic pig, looking like a water ball wrapped in skin. Some people might think it looks soft and very cute, while others might feel that in the pitch-black deep sea, a semi-transparent thing with hands moving around is somewhat startling. The sea pig is only about the size of a human palm, length between 10 to 15 centimeters. Their most special feature is that they have many pairs of enlarged tube feet. These tube feet aren't just their movement tools, but also their hunting weapons. The sea pig's movement method is quite unique. They move through 5 to 7 pairs of plump tube feet, swimming across the seafloor. This movement principle is similar to hydraulic devices. Sea pigs absorb water with tube feet, then move the tube feet by expelling water, achieving flexible movement in the deep sea. Organic debris falls like snowflakes continuously, called marine snow. Sea pigs feed on these organic materials. They use tube feet to anchor themselves in seafloor sediment, then take turns putting food-filled tentacles into their mouths. Sea pigs have a ring of tentacles around their mouths, helping them select food from mud. When whale carcasses decompose on the seafloor, sea pigs gather around, feasting on nutrient-rich sea mud. At these large gatherings, all sea pigs usually face the same direction, facing the main ocean current direction to detect rotting sticky substances, finding the best feeding spots. Besides their unique feeding method, sea pigs also have a touching defense mechanism. Their skin contains a toxin called holothrin. This toxin is enough to make many ocean predators keep their distance. Although sea pigs live comfortably in the deep sea, their bodies are very fragile. Once caught and brought ashore, they're likely to become a pile of broken gel fragments. TOP2, sand flea. Meager income and disease invasion force people in parts of Africa to struggle for survival daily in hardship. Daily necessities like shoes are a luxury for many people. In this land, barefoot Africans face a year-round, horrifying parasite, sand fleas. Originally common carnivorous creatures from coastal oceans, hiding in sand and rocks during the day, coming out to feed at night. However, when poor Africans walk barefoot, they become the sand flea's prey. Once sand fleas parasitize the human body, the consequences are extremely serious. They suck human blood as nourishment, growing rapidly. Experts point out, a 1 millimeter sand flea entering the human body may swell to 12 millimeters, increasing in length 6 times. More frightening, during parasitism, the parasitized area may develop lesions, potentially life-threatening in severe cases. There was an African young man who, due to long-term barefoot outings, was parasitized by sand fleas. When his condition became so severe he had to seek medical help, doctors were shocked to discover his skin had been eaten with 2,555 holes by sand fleas. According to doctors, in such cases, without timely treatment, the consequences could be unimaginable. Because after sand flea parasitism, human wounds may develop secondary infections. Especially some female sand fleas after parasitizing will lay eggs in the human body, and those hundreds or thousands of hatched baby sand fleas will also parasitize humans as hosts. Imagine how terrifying the situation is. TOP1, box jellyfish. In the azure seawater, this transparent creature resembles an exquisite glass artwork, gently swaying with the water flow, displaying an elegant posture, like a fairy of the sea. But beneath this beautiful appearance lies a deadly toxin that terrifies people. It is the box jellyfish. Belonging to the Cnidaria phylum with a transparent cube-shaped body, box jellyfish were among the first animals to evolve eyes. Unlike most creatures, they have 24 eyes. They use this special adaptation while swimming. They can turn, navigate, and move freely in narrow areas. Their different types of eyes have different functions. Divided into 4 types, some can detect object size, some can distinguish light and dark, some can perceive colors. However, scientists are still researching how jellyfish without brains process what they see. Box jellyfish are surrounded by dozens of slender tentacles. These tentacles are covered with thousands of venom-storing stinging cells. These stinging cells can rapidly release venom when contacting prey or predators. This venom contains various neurotoxins and cardiotoxins, capable of rapidly paralyzing the prey's nervous system and causing cardiac arrest. Besides being highly toxic, another terrifying aspect of box jellyfish is their widespread distribution and difficulty to detect. Box jellyfish are distributed in tropical and subtropical waters worldwide. They often float on the ocean's surface, drifting with ocean currents. Due to their transparent bodies, hard to detect in clear sea water. Therefore, people swimming or snorkeling can easily touch them by mistake. Since 1884, at least 5,567 lives have been sent to meet their maker by box jellyfish, showing how terrifying they are. TOP1, camel carcass. Known as the ship of the desert, camels are an important aid for human survival in the desert. However, when alive, they're welcomed. When dead, people avoid them. Why is this? When you accidentally encounter a dead camel in the desert, seeing its prominent hump, many people might think of cutting open the hump, looking for water. However, this impulsive action could bring unexpected danger. After death, in an oxygen-free environment inside the body, a sealed space forms. Under these conditions, the fat in the carcass rapidly decomposes, producing organic acids, methane, carbon dioxide, and other compounds. Meanwhile, proteins are broken down by microorganisms, releasing gases like ammonia and hydrogen sulfide, especially under desert high temperatures. The camel's carcass will decompose faster, breeding large numbers of bacteria. Additionally, undigested food in the body will also ferment, producing gases like carbon monoxide. Therefore, after death, large amounts of gas accumulate inside. If you try to pierce a camel carcass with a knife, these accumulated gases could cause an explosion, causing bodily harm. Therefore, in the desert, we should avoid carelessly touching dead camels. It's worth noting, not just camels, the carcasses of many large animals may also explode under specific conditions.